metal around here, this plate that they're sitting in is called the jet plate. Now you want to keep that clean. It'll get ink residue on it just from printing and overspray and things like that. So if it builds up enough, it could like drop off onto whatever you're printing. You can clean that with paper towel and alcohol. However, when you're doing that, you want to make sure you don't touch the print heads with your dirty paper towel.
Right.
The only thing that you should touch the print heads with are these lint-free cloths.
Okay.
You can also get these from us. If you get them from somewhere else, you got to make sure they're not paper-based. You have your LED lamps, one here, one there.
Oh, okay.
Those will also get dirty. You can also clean those with alcohol and paper towel.
Okay.
Just the lens, wipe it down. And these blue bars are static bars.
Okay.
Those help to eliminate static off of materials. Those will also get dirty. They're kind of hard to clean because there's these little spikes that come down right here.
Yeah, I see those.
But if you get like a toothbrush, you can just scrub it with alcohol.
Alcohol?
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, anything that you're cleaning on here, you can use alcohol on. Right. So if you're printing and like a corner on your car plants is sticking up, the idea is that you hit this and trigger everything to stop.
Okay.
In order for you to not damage your heads.
Gotcha.
So
shut off. It's automatically shuts off.
yeah, it just stops. Everything stops motion and everything. So
that's good.
if you stop, yeah, I mean there's one on each corner. This is also the only off button on the printer. So if you're talking to support and they say, "Can you restart the printer?" You would hit this button, and then you hit the green button to turn it back on.
Okay.
Other than that, you don't want to shut the printer off because you want the heads to mist. You also don't want to shut the computer off because the software controls the misting.
Oh, okay.
So when you're leaving for the day, you don't shut off the printer or anything. The control panel here, everything's nice and labeled. You have your on button. Doesn't do anything if the printer's already on. You have your LED intensity adjustments, so these will adjust the brightness of your LED lamps. The higher you run them, the better curing you'll get of the ink, but also you introduce more heat to your material. So things that are heat sensitive might start warping a little, or like if you're printing on a big sheet of plywood or something, it's going to want to blow up. So you kind of got to play around with it to find.
What do you guys usually like when you were printing chloroplast? What would you have to sell?
I'd probably sell them to like 70. Yeah. Vacuum turns the vacuum on. Holds your material down flat. Reverse vacuum pushes your material, so it's easier to move big heavy sheets.
Yeah.
You need the vacuum on in order for reverse vacuum to work.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Otherwise, because this button basically controls the big blowers, so that's what's either pulling air through the table or pushing air through the table. Pin registration puts up your registration pin so you can line your material up. You can't print if these are on or if reverse vacuum is on. You get an error on the screen. So if you put your material on and you forget to put these down, you go over there and you're like, what's this error about? Make sure these are on.
You get it into place, then you put it down.
Yeah.
You probably have the vacuum on though, so it doesn't shift on you, right?
So you can put this up, turn the vacuum on.
You got to turn off the vacuum to print though, or
No, you need the vacuum on.
yeah, you need that on to print. Keep it still.
It will let you print without the vacuum on, so you just got to remember to always have your vacuum on. Down here, under this middle panel, we have this unit. called the chiller. So, yep, this is the chiller. So, what this does is it provides power to your LEDs, your LED lamps, and it also circulates coolant through them to keep them from overheating. So you have a coolant level indicator here. You want to make sure it's in the blue. So you're good right now. If you do need to refill it, you can use distilled water or regular 50-50 coolant for a car. The green stuff.
Either or?
Yeah.
No preference on either one.
No, not really. The spout is up here, so you get like some sort of funnel hose thing, but it's not too hard to pour into here. If this is off, then your lamps won't turn on. So if you start printing and you notice your ink is not curing, your lamps aren't turning on, you gotta make sure that you hit that green on button there. So the way the negative pressure system works is that there's air pumps that pull air out of these tanks, and that's what creates that vacuum in the ink lines to keep the ink up in the heads. So you got one for color, one for white. Now if you needed to adjust the negative pressure, this is where you would have to do it. You would have to use a small flathead screwdriver on these little dip switches here, these blue squares. So there's that red dial in the center, numbers around it, so you turn it to adjust it. So reasons why you might need to adjust it: if you're printing and like halfway through your print you lose a bunch of nozzles. If you look at the bottom of the printhead, if you notice there's ink just pooling there, then you got to raise the negative pressure because it's not strong enough to keep the ink up in the head. But if you don't see anything down there, or if you purge it and like all the ink gets sucked back up into the head, it might be too high and the head can't refill fast enough. So you might have to lower it. That's where you would do that. Again, you can call us and we can tell you.
Is that something that never gets adjusted very often?
Sometimes, I mean, you might have to adjust it if it gets its bottom set. Is only for the vacuums. There's 2 vacuum motors, and for the chiller. That's all it runs. And the top set is for the electronics. So if you are leaving for the day, the only thing you can shut off over here is this lamp power breaker.
Okay.
So that shuts off the chiller and shuts off the exhaust fans.
Okay.
So that way they're not just spinning all night for no reason.
Okay.
And when you come in, you got to remember to turn this on, otherwise you don't have any power to your lamps.
Okay.
So
lamp power.
Yeah, you can label it or put a sticker on it or something.
Okay.
Wow. You guys got a fancy machine.
So these black cylinders up here are primary filters. Those also need to be changed at the same time as those. So every 6 months for 13 liters of ink.
Primary filters.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, every single one of them then?
Every single one that you're using. So you're not using this one because that's white 2.
Yeah.
But all these other ones you do get.
Okay.
Underneath here, these little things with all these labels, those are your ink pumps. You have to change those every year.
Okay.
You're not using all of them again, so if you look at which ones are plugged in, it's most of them. This one's not plugged in, white 2. And this one over here is not plugged in. So you have 1 ink pump for each sub-tank, plus you get these 3 over here. These ones that say WR, those are white recirculation. So because the pigment in the white ink is much heavier than the color ones, it tends to separate out. So we have a recirculation system in the big tank and in the sub tank. So it's being pumped back through the tanks to keep it mixed. When they are getting low, they start beeping, and whichever one's low starts lighting up. So like, I'll show you an example. There's just a float sensor in here. So if we lift this, actually. If they're plugged in, they'll start.
Yes, you are correct. We do have starting, but we have customers in there and everywhere.
Just like that. So that's what happens when it's low on ink. It is really annoying, so it's a good idea to keep at least one bottle of ink on hand.
Oh yeah.
So you can pour it in. So when this happens, it's not all the way empty, but the only way to shut this up is to unplug that alarm.
Or fill it.
Or fill it. So if you don't have any ink, you kind of got to unplug it. So to refill it, you can do it through the front here. Take your ink, give it a nice little shake.
Put something down here. It's permanent to keep it from getting all over the floor. Maybe like something tie-dye. You dude. Yeah, I'll put a yeah, I'll put a graphic on the ground or something like that. Just like clean up like a gloss lamp on yourself, just wipe it off, you know.
And you refill it. If it's still beeping, that means your float sensor's probably stuck. There you go.
Okay.
Just gotta sometimes give it a little shake or something. And that's it. That's how you refill it. You can do this while it's printing, on the fly,
Oh yeah?
whenever.
Okay.
Yeah. You don't gotta shut anything off.
Well, if you ran past when it's going to run out, if it ran out, would it stop printing?
No, it doesn't know how much ink is in
Gotcha.
it.
Okay.
The only one that might be a little challenging is this white because it has these recirculation tubes going to it. So if you undo this, if the pump is going off, you might make a mess if you're not careful. So ink, when the pump kicks on, gets pumped through here and then back into the tank. So when you're doing this, you kind of want to hold it up here.
Yeah.
Try to refill it, maybe get like a funnel or something.
Is there ink in any of those except for the yellow right now?
No, there's ink in all of them.
Okay.
Do you guys need anything else other than the S drive?
Your valves for the vacuum zones. So the table is split up into 6 zones. There's a chart here that tells you. So like 1 is right here, 2 is next to it. So the idea is that you want to shut off the zones you're not using. So
Is 1 through 4 a 4x8 area?
1 through 4 is a 4x8.
Okay.
And then all of them will be the 5x5.
Okay, so then the 5 and 6 are the only other things that that would make up the 5x10.
Yep.
Gotcha. That would be a 5x8 right there. That's a 5x8, and then the full thing is.
What you might want to touch is this power supply.
Yeah.
It's for the static bars.
Okay.
So it's got a switch on the other side here.
Right.
Right here.
On the back.
Yeah, so when the cover is on, you can reach in through this hole on
Okay.
the bottom and turn them on or off. The reason you want to turn them on or off is because the way they work is they use the opposite charge static electricity to eliminate whatever type of static is on your material. But if you don't get static on your material, like if it's wood or paper or something that doesn't get staticky, it'll introduce static to it. So if you're printing on paper or wood or something that you're not having static issues with, it's best to turn them off. Otherwise, you are causing more static. So
Most of the stuff we use has static.
yeah, if it's plastic, then you want to keep them on.
Right. Even like max metal, like composite material.
It's a good idea to get some gloves. So you don't get ink on your hands. And what we're going to do is we're going to turn our negative pressure valves in order to go from negative pressure to positive pressure, so it pushes ink out of the heads. That's how you would do a purge. So you use your handy dandy valve tool, which we're always going to keep here so it doesn't get lost.
Okay.
Alright, it sits right there, don't put it anywhere else. And if you're doing this in the morning, you're going to want to turn all the valves. If you are just trying to purge one specific color because you're missing some nozzles, you can just turn the one that you want to purge. But every morning you got to do all of them. So you take your tool, put it here, and you turn each valve to the side. So now they're all pointing to the 9 o'clock. So it's a quarter turn. It's only in towards counterclockwise. There are stoppers to prevent you from turning it the other way, but you could break them if you really, turn it. So if you look now, down here, you're dripping ink, right? So after you turn those valves, you gotta come here and hit this ink purge button for a few seconds, and that kind of pushes it out a little harder. And then, after you do that, you're going to turn all these back to negative pressure.
So that's it.
To stop it dripping.
Okay. So that's it. You open them up, you push that down for like 5 seconds, then you close them back up.
And then you got to wipe that.
Then you wipe them off.
Yeah. So now it stopped dripping, but you got all this ink sitting on the bottom of the heads, right?
Oh yeah. Look at that.
So what you do is you take a lint-free cloth.
Yeah.
And you can fold it over.
Right.
And then you can kind of drape it over your finger to get a nice even surface. And you just wipe from the back to the front just like that. Now you can also push this back, but you might still get some drips on the floor.
So you didn't put anything on that?
Nope.
That's
When you're doing this,
a purge, push.
just a purge and a wipe.
Okay.
That's all you gotta do. When you're leaving for the night, though, you can put some flush on here. You don't have to purge it, but you could just wipe the heads with flush when you're leaving for the night.
Okay.
And then, when you're leaving for the night, you don't have to purge, you don't have to do the valves and stuff, but you can pour some flush on a lint-free cloth and just wipe it.
Just wipe it.
That's it.
Okay.
Now, yeah, always remember to shut your valves back off, otherwise it's going to keep dripping. And if you do push this back, make sure you close it again so you don't have this open area. And you might want to put something down on the floor here too, just to catch it.
Right. Can I wipe that off right there?
Yeah,
Like a piece right there that's for me. If I
Yeah.
Okay, so
if you didn't mirror it in your
in
design.
the design beforehand.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
that's an important tab right there.
this is the important thing.
Right.
So all, like I said, covers the whole image area with white. Rip will pay attention to the spot color. So are you guys familiar with spot colors?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you can use a spot color for white in your design. Do you use Illustrator? Or,
I do.
Okay. Yeah, so when you're designing your files, if you wanted white, like in this file, the way that this was supposed to be. tubes that have been set up. All this green here, this lime green, this is all supposed to be white. So what they would have done in Illustrator is they would have selected the square and they would make a swatch in Illustrator called Spot 1 and color this block in with that Spot 1 color.
Okay.
And then when you're printing and you hit rip, it'll look for Spot 1 and know that that's where you want white to print.
Okay.
So if you were printing something and you only wanted white behind these letters, you would make you would do the same thing. You'd make like another layer in your art file in Illustrator, color it in with Spot 1, and when you go to rip it and print it, it'll know that that's the only spot that you want white.
So it has to be called Spot 1?
Yep.
Now does it have to be a separate under the layer? Because let's say it's a Pantone color and my rip station wants to print the Pantone color as well. If I change the name of the if I change its name to Spot 1, it's going to change what color. I don't have any test color yet. I don't have any boxes.
Clear stuff.
I have a light box here to like put a sign in to like look at it. I feel like I need to get one of those. I guess if you just hold it up to one of these, it might give you at least some indication of how it looks.
Then you got these buttons that don't do anything, so you can just ignore those. Right underneath all these buttons is a very important area. You have your origin, so this is where you want your print to start. So
Right.
You have your X and your Y, so like when it says 1 and 1, these are all inches. That means it's going to start 1 inch over and 1 inch up.
Usually we're going to be on 0, right?
Yep, so if you have it at 0, 0, where you don't see banding like looking at it straight on, but if you're looking at it in the light, you see almost like
Gloss and matte.
matte, glossy.
I've heard of that too,
Yeah. So that could be a lamp issue.
Well, I've heard that you can use that to create a more gloss or
Yeah.
matte effect, but depending
So-
on which way you
Yeah.
change it.
So when they're all on all the time, that's the most curing, that's the most matte that you're going to be
It's
able
going to be more
get.
matte
Yeah.
look overall.
To get it glossy, you can do leading lamps. So that means it's the lamp in front of the print is on.
Okay.
So when it's printing this way, it's putting ink down and this lamp is on, so nothing is curing this ink until it goes back over it. So
Does that also depend on how much light is just over there?
it could, yes. Yeah, but for the most part, having that leading lamps it'll give you a glossier. It's not going to be like super glossy, like glossy vinyl or anything, but you'd be able to tell the difference. So you can do leading lamps to do that. However, the curing is slightly worse when you do that.
Yeah. So they'd be like a little, maybe like ink sort of push it around or like that.
Not that, it just might not adhere as well to certain things. So
Scratch off
Yeah.
easier or something.
Yeah,
Less
exactly.
scratch resistant.
Exactly.
So if you were doing that, let's just say for example, you were doing one you wanted to be
Yeah.
glossy, which ones would you uncheck?
So if you want it to be glossy, you
Yeah.
would do the leading. So this is saying that it's printing this way, you want the lamp.
Yeah, it switches back and forth between each
Yeah,
lamp
and
based on which way it's
yeah.
moving.
So yeah, you just look at the arrow, so it's, if you want the front lamps, it would be that.
So you do the opposite together. What's the reason
When you do your nozzle test, you get
Trailing
some cross
lamps.
contamination. Trailing lamps only, you get good curing,
noticed
which is fine. So it's good for, it does seem like a lot, but it's a really small amount of ink. So as soon as you start printing, you won't even notice it.
Okay.
So what you're looking for is any gaps. So each little line here,
It should be the same distance apart.
yeah, each little line here is one nozzle. There's something like 1,000 something nozzles per print head. So you're looking for any gaps. If you do see any missing nozzles, you want to purge and wipe again and see if they come back. And the way these work, the reason they're so wide is because you have, two sets of color heads. You have, one here, one here.
Yep.
So, if you look at this nozzle test here, you kind of see rows, right? Columns of nozzles. The way these work, you have all these little rows or columns or knives. So it's not printing like the left head on the left head here and the right head on the right head.
You have to have that spot one
It's
in there.
actually every
Okay, you're just gonna flood it.
This
Any
row-
file 12 by 12.
yeah.
Just tell it this different color and just
So this one's 24 by 18. We're gonna crop it, so we can double click. And
so you
you gotta check this box as this clip.
Okay, you should have
That lets you draw a square on the end, right? Or you have this flip area here, so we'll just make the width and height 12 by 12.
Okay.
And we'll hit OK. And that crops it.
Okay.
And we'll go into that white option, the multi-layer print. We're gonna print white, or we're not gonna print color.
Okay.
And we're gonna leave this on all, so it floods it.
Okay.
And then we have it selected, we'll go up to print, and you get that same box where you can measure before printing. If you're doing the same material, you don't have to measure every time if you know that it's...
Right. It's already set. So right now I know.
So we
Every
already measured-
sheet of Coro, you don't have to
Yeah.
measure us. It's going to take forever
Exactly. Yeah.
to do. Gotcha.
So you can hit print directly and it'll just start. Yeah, lamps on first.
Open the nozzles.
Yep.
Purge.
Yep.
5 seconds. And then white.
Yep.
White the heads. Should have put that as a second one, but I'm going to type this up and I'm going to print out a decal. I'm going to put it right here. Daily maintenance. Right there.
And then you do your nozzle test and your white square. Or you can do the white square first and then the
It
nozzle.
doesn't really matter what
Doesn't
order.
matter.
Gotcha.
Then you want to save this. And then after you've done all that, you are good to go and start running. So,
Rest of the day, whatever. Now,
yeah.
okay. I mean, I've got stuff saved right now to print. I mean, I've got it like work orders. See, it'll always default to the latest month, so you go all the way down to January of 2020, which is up there. These are just some generic stuff. It's kind of a little maneuver in there, but
So can't you rip it over there still and pull the wood file into the
that's what I was going to ask. If I could rip it from on that computer.
And then it still rips it to
How do
Yeah.
how can I access it from how can I access
So-
the ripped file?
So
from
the way
here?
we have Onyx set up for this print, when you, for your Mamakis, do you start the prints through Onyx?
I do.
Okay, yeah, it's different.
Right.
So the way we have it set up is it prints to file. So what it does when you hit print now, it doesn't. The printer doesn't start printing.
Right, it creates a file.
It puts the RIP file into the hot folder, which is on the C drive and it's hot folder. This is where all your PRT files are going to show up.
That's what they're called.
That's what they are. Yeah. So Onyx will take whatever file, a PDF or an illustrator file, or convert it into a PRT and drop it in here. And then when it's in here, you can go to your printer software and pull it in and print it. So we can set up your Onyx over there to drop files into this folder. So when you rip over there, it'll be in this folder. You can pull it into the printer and
With how it's everything I rip on that Onyx automatically gets.
oh, you print it out.
We can do it on the back. We can use the back too.
Yeah. I know this was to check the. Like this one and then that. Okay, guys. All right, yeah. Hey,
How's the nozzle look?
it's okay. This can be on the back.
Yeah, their customer won't care.
I'm installing this on some boards that are already there, so we just gotta flip it over.
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't look like it's printing anything. It's just white. Stop it. How do I pour? How do I stop? Finger smudges. So
Oil.
we should definitely wipe off before we print. Like finger smudges looks like. You can see like a couple of them. You can't really see it that much, but it's on there. See this quality. This is fine, man. I don't see a difference yet, do you?
I think from here to here doesn't matter, but if you put your eyes above it, that's
Right. That's the like slowest. Oh yeah, it looks like it's working much better too with having this orientation.